My dog Brian is an 8-year-old white Labrador that we picked up as a stray. He's a really smart dog and great with my little boy Stuart. I'm a lorry driver, so I spend a lot of time away from home. We tried boarding and dog sitting, but Brian always gets really depressed without us there. Any suggestions?
Get a job where you can truck and have the dog in the cab, you know.
Oh my God, they were talking about flipping. Which one of you was that? Which one of you was that?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Clip that. Which one of you was that?
Fantastic. So Jose says, I'm travelling to the crown jewel that is Milwaukee. I want to take my dog, Jumanji. Any tips on pet travel? Well, yes, actually, the United States, if you're coming from the UK, is not as difficult as many other countries if you want to take a dog there. It's
Jose.
fairly.
I have a slightly lighter story about pitch invasions. Oh, okay. We'll be the judge. I was watching my son Stu's footy team play on Saturday, and I brought my dog Brian along for a walk. Brian ran onto the pitch and dragged the ball into the net. Would have been the winning goal, but it was disallowed. Case for VAR. Do you know what my dad was saying actually the other day? That he took me to watch some local rugby when I was a toddler. And he took his eye off me for a second. The next thing, there's a big second row who got me in his arms saying, "Where's the mother?" Of course, she wasn't there. It was Dad who was in charge.
No!
Team Talk Fantasy Football League. We haven't given a shout to for ages, so I should just let you know while I have a quick look of who's leading.
And Peter's listening in again from Twickenham. He says, thanks for reading out my earlier choice. He says, I asked around and my sons Chris and Stuart suggested 80 Liens. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly by Outcast. My partner Lois chose Meltdown by Ash, and my daughter Megan chose Honey by Robin. And all those come via Pete, who's listening in from Twickenham.
Pete from Twickenham!
I have a very few loose Irish connections. My dog Brian is an Irish setter. My wife...
I wondered how long before somebody brought up an Irish dog.
My wife Lois loves U2. My son Chris and Stuart visited Donegal last year. My daughter Megan has green eyes and loves Father Ted. So he's going to be celebrating later on.
This comes from Pete in Twickenham, who says, I'm neutral on social media, but it divides my family. My partner Lois and daughter Megan abstain from all social media, but my sons Chris and Stuart are avid Twitter and WhatsApp addicts. The tie was broken by our Labrador Brian, who has been given his Snapchat. He's got his own Instagram account.
Okay.
It's a 3-2 victory for social media in their house. Any pets on Instagram?
How many follows is that Labrador going to get off that mention now?
Twickenham strikes again!
We should really have given out the username. BBC Radio 5 Live. Something to just come back to from before when we were talking about social media. Somebody, Pete in Twickenham, got in touch to let us know that the balance in their family between, half of them were on social media, half of them weren't, and then the balance was tipped in the favour of social media by their Labrador. He got in touch to let us know that Brian the Labrador is on Instagram as Brian_the_Labrador. He says, please give him a plug.
Oh, you have 420 points.
Who is having a sort of house divided Game of Thrones-esque type scenario going on within his family.
Nice.
Pete, what is happening?
Nice,
You're reserving judgment,
it's a
aren't
cutthroat.
you?
Ooh.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah.
Red cheeks. Look at the red cheeks.
On Boris for now.
Those are some red cheeks.
I want to give him a chance, but...
Wow.
The election has really divided my household.
Honor bound to post, that's right.
And my daughter Megan are very left wing, and they're staunch Corbynites. But my sons Chris and Stuart are servant Bojo boys, as they refer to themselves now. They love Boris, but the tie was broken today by our Labrador Brian, because Brian growls viciously every time Boris has a close-up on the telly. So,
they're loving it.
I guess that makes it a narrow loss for Boris, in my house at least.
Yes, that's 3-2 loss for Boris. Listen, look, that must be quite the dinner table. When you all start chatting about politics, is politics banned at your dinner table, Pete, or is it an absolute must to chat about it on a nightly basis?
Sometimes I wish it was banned. Yeah, it does get quite fractious. There's some throwing of the cutlery sometimes.
It's interesting that it's 3-2 because that is about as close as you could get to 66% in a household.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, listen, Pete, thank you very much. It's great talking to you, and the best of luck with that. Good luck with the fractious nature of your household, and maybe get some more backup cutlery. But Pete in Twickenham, whose house is a house divided, Corbynites and Bojo boys, Chris and Stuart, his sons. Jake, you have
Stuart, his sons,
and wanted to have a brief history of Boris
unbelievable,
condensed, unbelievable into 90 seconds.
A house divided. Pete in Twickenham, a house divided.
Sure.
Pete in Twickenham goes round the whole family. He says, "Hi Billy, can I suggest Tilted by Christine and the Queens, which includes a great French language rap?" He says, "My partner Lois chose Dominique by the Singing Nun. I remember it well way back in the 1960s. That was a big hit for the Singing Nun." He says, "My sons Chris and Stuart chose Despacito by Louis Fonsi featuring Justin Bieber. And my daughter Megan suggested a song that I'm not going to mention," he says, "because it's one of her favourites, and the reason I'm not going to mention it is because we're keeping that up our sleeve as the very last track. We've had more nominations for this song than any other over the course of the programme, and we're going to go out with an absolute bang and play it right at the very end." And last
they're keeping it up the sleeve to
says,
play it!
Labrador always goes wild if Gangnam Style comes on the radio, and so it should. Okay, we've also had a lot of nominations for this next track. It really is one of my favourites from 1993 from a great
They're
record
waiting to
called
play
Mellow
Meg
Gold.
Griffin's song last.
Thank you again for getting in touch this evening. It's a joy to hear from you always. Pete
We could get out here.
on the text. Hello, Pete.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Because Pete says,
I got it 6 times in an
my whole
SLR,
family
so
are listening and
it's
loving the
perfect.
tunes. Thank you very much. He says,
What's
my partner
good?
Lewis, my sons Chris and Stuart, my daughter Megan, and our Labrador Brian. Pete, that is a dog with exquisite taste in music, at least. I hope Brian's enjoying the tunes, maybe even barking along, only at the loud bits though. And hello to Andrea McSwan on Twitter.
Pete from Twickenham called in. Oh, Berman, you're all scum.
Says hi to the whole family.
You don't deserve a
loving the tunes,
giveaway.
my partner Lois, my sons Chris, Stuart, and my daughter Megan, and our Labrador Brian. That's from Pete in Twickenham.
Yeah, keep them coming in. 811.
Yeah, Pete in Twickenham. Yeah. She said, "Yeah, Pete in Twickenham." She's got no clue. She's got no clue. She's got no clue that that was. I wonder, you know, this one here, this station feels active enough where someone listening might have picked up on that.
Pete in Twickenham. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Pete. Tell us your story then.
Well, my family have quite a few connections to space travel, really. Some more tenuous than others. My partner Lois and I met at a Star Trek convention in Manchester quite a long time ago now. But our kids are all space mad. Our oldest son, Christopher, he's studying applied physics at St Mary's University, and his goal is to become a satellite engineer or something similar. And our daughter Megan has just started an apprenticeship with the Met Office down in Exeter. And our youngest son, Stuart, he dreams of becoming the first ever person on Mars. And he even wants to bring our Labrador Brian along with him as a kind of modern day Leica.
And where did he get that aspiration from? Was that you drumming it into Stuart, your youngest? How old is Stuart?
He's about 10. Yeah, I think Lois and I have always kind of been to watch space movies and documentaries, and we definitely brought the kids to the Science Museum a fair bit, and there's often brilliant exhibitions about space and space flight and exploration. So those are some of the influences, I think.
And what is it about the magic of space, Pete, for you?
I think it puts our existence as human beings into its proper context, really. There's just something magical. This is just something really, I don't know, just amazing about just everything we found out as a species about our place in the universe and how it all works. It's just it's inspiring, really.
Are you going to fly to space if you can afford it within your lifetime?
Definitely. If the opportunity comes up, I'll take Lewis, I'll take Chris, I'll take Megan and Stuart, and I'll take Brian if I can.
It'll be interesting to see, won't it, in terms of just how affordable might it become within our lifetime. You know, so if you think of the next, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, will it become as affordable as a transatlantic flight? I wonder.
I think it's possible, looking at other technologies, as you said, with air travel, with traveling by ship, traveling by rail. I mean, it may take a century or two, but I think we'll get there.
Pete, nice to talk to you. Thank you very much.
I'm a lorry driver, so I spend a lot of time away